Hello, my friend. I got a question for you. Who is your enemy? I mean, we all go through seasons in life where it just seems like someone in our life is dead set against us. I remember I had this teacher in fourth grade, and she just got it into her head, and I don't know how, because I was probably a perfect child, but she did not like me. Man, it was parent-teacher conference after parent-teacher conference, and the whole year was miserable. I've had a couple coaches like this. I had a coworker once like this. It was a summer job. It was a manual labor job, and he just complained about me no matter how much I loved him and how hard I worked. And well, we all get people in our life that are oppositional, that for some reason want to pose or get our perspective on them that they are our enemy, but they're not. They're not really our enemy. How do I know this? Well, let's look at an obscure little passage. It's an Easter passage. It's a last week of Jesus' life passage. In fact, it's right before he goes to trial. He's at the Garden of Gethsemane. He's praying. It's very intense. Judas comes up. He kisses him. He's surrounded by all these military guys. And the high temple guard guy, he's there with a sword. And one of the disciples, he's there with a sword. And here's what the passage says, Luke 22:49 through 51. When Jesus' followers saw what was going to happen, they said, "Lord, should we strike with our swords?" And one of them struck the servant of the high priest, cutting off his ear. But Jesus answered, "No more of this." And he touched the man's ear, and he healed him. Why did Jesus heal this guy? Now, we think he's a servant of this high official. Listen, this guy was a soldier. This guy was not some little assistant taking notes. He was there with a sword. He was there to arrest Jesus. He was there to torture Jesus. Why does Jesus heal someone who was there to stab him and torture him? I mean, let's think about this. A little bit later, he goes on trial with Herod, and Herod goes, "Do one miracle, I'll set you free." Jesus doesn't do a miracle. We see time after time, Jesus goes by large crowds, and he doesn't do miracles. He doesn't heal everyone. Jesus goes to one particular town up in Galilee, and it says, man, he could do very little miracles there because there wasn't much faith there. Why in this moment is there enough faith to heal an enemy? Well, I'll tell you why. Because Jesus understood this spiritual principle. He didn't have any enemies. And you don't have enemies on this earth. What do I mean by that? Let's look at one more passage. This is Ephesians 6:12. For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers and against the authorities and against the powers of this dark world and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms. My friend, there is no person on this earth that is my enemy. Not someone who votes different than me, not someone who looks different than me, not someone who believes different than me, not someone that rejects my beliefs, not someone that yells at me, not someone that makes snide comments about me online, not someone who says bad things about me in the workplace, not someone who wants to argue with me at the family reunion. I have no enemies on this earth. In fact, as a human, I only really have two enemies. One is my own sinful nature, and the other is the spiritual forces aligned against God's kingdom. And those are the only enemies I will fight. Jesus knew this. He knew it so much that on that fateful night, he touched a man willing to kill him. And his grace, his healing power flowed into him. What are you and I supposed to be doing? Well, we're supposed to be advancing that kingdom. We're supposed to be praying that that kingdom comes and that will be done. As it is in heaven, let it be on earth. In other words, you are meant to be an agent that touches every oppositional force in your life with the grace and healing of Jesus Christ. Who are you holding a grudge? Who are you holding some unforgiveness for? Who are you bitter against because they've opposed you? What if you came in the opposite spirit? What if you came with grace and healing? What if you acted like Jesus?